What's up, you guys? This is Devin with Century Effects Studios TV, back with another video. And today we're going to be talking about another one of the Trump pictures that came out during the big, assassination attempt on the former President Donald Trump during his rally. Now, I want to break down this picture and talk about what we see here. Now, I believe this picture was also taken by Doug Mills. So he's a Sony shooter, shoots for Associate AP, and he also shoots with the A1. He was shooting with a 24 millimeter 1.4 G Master lens, and but mainly what I want to talk about is this composition here. Now, this composition, and I also want to talk about what situation they were in and what you're thinking about as a photographer from my perspective. I didn't get a chance to talk to him, and I wasn't there, so I didn't take this picture. All credit goes to the photographer, Doug Mills. So while you're in, and I've been to presidential rallies before, so I know exactly what the setup is. I know how they always do the same thing because there's a massive amount of people. It has to go by a certain strict protocol and template that they always go by for most of these situations. So typically there's a riser where the podium is, where the president or the presidential candidate speaks, and they're above everybody else. Now there will be another riser in back where the film crew will be, and they will also be above everybody else, but they'll be in line sight of the presidential candidate or the president. And the reason why this is because they want to be above everybody else. They don't want to see the back of people's heads, but they also want to get them in the composition to let people know that there's people there. So you will have a riser. You will have a riser for the person that's speaking, and a riser for the film crew. So you will have a camera straight on, but you'll also have people off to the left and right. Sometimes there'll be photographers, but most of them are videographers closer to the back. The photographers tend to be either floating within the crowd or in the front, like these photographers were. Now, this photographer was at 24 millimeters, and it was a prime lens, so he knew exactly where he was going to be and how close he was going to be to the person, and he knew exactly what kind of image that he was looking to get. Now, with that said, most people wouldn't think that a prime lens could do this because they're not flexible lenses. They don't, by definition, zoom. So a lot of people would be scared to use a prime lens, but this guy has got enough experience to know, hey, I'm going to use my prime lens because I know exactly the shot I want, and the shot that I'm going to get is, this one right here. And he got another great shot, the one that was the bullet whizzing near the president's head. And you have to be able to be in the spot, but you also have to be ready. Now, for people who are photographers, who are pros, who do photojournalism, action, and events, and they're in the right spot, and they was able to get the passes to get in the right spot, they could probably get this image off well exposed with no problem at all. The issue comes into play, and the barrier to entry to most pro photographers who don't have as much experience as Doug here is the confidence, the wherewithal and the confidence to know exactly what to do in such an extreme situation. And that is the difference between you getting the shot and you not getting the shot. Also, the thought of mine to have the camera that can actually take these images. Now, the first image that I was talking about was with the bullet. Now, if you didn't have a camera that could shoot 1/8,000th of a second, you wouldn't have caught that image. And this is why we love talking about camera specs so much. We talk about brands and all this other stuff and innovation of cameras, and we're enthusiastic about the next latest greatest spec because of things like these moments that you can't get back, moments that are just a moment in time. You never even know when these things are going to happen. And most of the time we're talking about this for sports and Olympics and stuff like that, but this is a presidential rally. You never would have even thought that this, and that makes it 10 times more imperative than just a sport that you knew exactly what they were going to do before they did it. You just didn't know how they were going to do before they did it. This is a situation where you didn't think that this was going to ever happen. Not even in this situation. So that last image that I went over, we had this bullet that was whizzing close to Donald Trump's head, where the Sony A1 recorded it, and the shutter speed was too slow to stop the bullet in the midst of everything, but it was able to actually get it recorded across the sensor, which is even more dramatic than actually getting a bullet, just a regular bullet sitting in the middle of the air. But that would have, it would have been amazing to get both. Now, this image is amazing, and I like this image. I don't think this is my favorite image out of the bunch, but this is definitely one of my favorites, if not second favorite. And as you can see here, now this is a screen grab from probably a video or whatever, but credits go all out to the photographer. Definitely, if you like this work, and please support the photographer and any way you can, and look up Doug Mills Photography. And I'm not sure exactly what website he has, but definitely, first of all, look him up because he's been doing some interviews and talking about his camera specs. So figure out who the right Doug Mills is, and then look up his work, and please support him. But with this image, you have Donald Trump, and Donald Trump, unlike any other president, like I said, this could have been anybody else. They would have just bent down and did what the Secret Service said. But you know Donald Trump. Donald Trump is probably, out of all presidents in history, probably one of the most exciting as far as what he does, most energetic presidents out there. He will always put on a show, entertain. He's one of the most entertaining, I think that's a better word, entertaining presidents, because he will always put on a show despite what is going on, and he will always try to he's stubborn. He will always try to get his point across, even if the Secret Service themselves are telling him to get down, stay away, stay safe. They're doing their job, but he's also doing his personal job, the job that he loves so much, but also doing it the way that he does it. Nobody else is going to do it like Trump. So we knew, or the photographers knew, to follow Trump, because he's probably going to try to do something like this. And it's just because Trump, the way Trump is, and as long as he was okay, we're glad that he's okay. I mean, some of his ear might be gone, but we're glad that he's okay. And this is not a political video whatsoever. I'm not trying to go for any side, but wow, this is a great image. But I've captured an image similar to this. Not necessarily in this type of event, of course. Nobody was shot or anything like that, or injured, or it wasn't showing all this stuff. But one thing that you have to understand is that flag in the background. The reason why I've taken an image like this before is because during graduations, especially if you're in rural areas, you got the workers that will bring those big trucks and fire trucks out, and they will drape the flag over a high level like that. So this will happen at graduations, and I've captured pictures like this year at student graduations where the flag was in the background while the student is jumping up for joy or whatever. You know, this is not a jumping for joy image by no means, but he is definitely doing something similar that a student would do by showing pride in their graduation, pride in the resilience in the face of adversity. And that's what this is, and that's how the photographer was able to get this moment, because they know, one, they know Trump. Two, they knew that flag was there, because that flag was there probably the entire time of the rally. So once he got close to the flag, an extremely experienced photographer knows that it's going to be a point in time where he gets close to that flag, and I need to be ready for whatever might happen or might not happen. Even if his hand wasn't up, even if he was crouching down like the Secret Service, it still probably would have been a good image. Probably not as good as this image, but Trump made that. Probably Barack or Biden or any other president, would have just ducked down and just gotten out of the way and just gotten out of there. But this guy always wants to put on a show, and put on a show for his rally and his folks. And once he knew that he wasn't in the worst danger in the world, Secret Service gave him clearance. And the same thing the photographer did. The photographer listened to the Secret Service because they were so close to the Secret Service. They said, clear, are we clear, blah, 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 blah. And one thing you can take solace in is not always a surefire thing to rely on. Of course, somebody's shooting, you want to get away. But one thing you can take solace in knowing that their target is Trump. So if you're already stuck in that situation and there's no way you can really run away, if you have your camera within that moment, shoot and run if you got to. But at the same time, they knew they had, the fellas had balls of steel. They had the cojones. They had everything that they needed and the confidence in getting this picture. This picture was probably taken at a wider aperture like the other picture was, probably at ISO 100 at a very, very fast shutter speed at the likes of 1/8,000th of a second, 1/5000th of a second, something like that, because it was a very sunny day, a whole bunch of light. Probably took it at somewhere around 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, in that range of day as far as the time of day. So you have to understand all of these factors put together, and they probably have, I don't know if they needed them or not, but they may have had more light flashing or flashing on him from the rafters in the back. So like I said, there are risers in the back, and these risers in front of the president, but they're probably several hundreds of feet away, but just for the media crew. And they typically have also heavy powered lights flashing or on the subject itself, to make sure they fill in the shadows and stuff like that. So he may have had extra light to help him out in the situation, but most of the light is coming from the sun, as we obviously can see. And now his hat is off. His Make America Great Again hat is off, so you can see more of his face, which makes it even better of a situation. Now, you don't have control over the fact that this hat is gone, but everything is lining up. And no matter how great of a photographer you are, if you're not at the right spot, the right time, and having the confidence and the awareness and the confidence to be able to do something like this, you won't be able to get this off. Knowing that the flag is back there, and it's back there the whole time, thinking to keep it in the shot. Now, the fact that he had a wide angle lens, that's great. If he had a zoom lens, probably even better. But this wide angle lens just did it on the money. You see what I'm saying? He could have stepped back, but you also have to think about all the other photographers that are only allowed in that section with you are probably caping for you too, which means they're probably giving you a shot. They're probably not trying to shoot over you, but at the same time, they're trying to give you a shot. Most of the photographers probably had a zoom lens, and they will have to get their shots, their zoom lens in the right spots, but also try to cape for the photographers around them. Usually in those situations, photographers band together to make these things work out in the way they need to work out. So we went over the specs, we went over the composition, how he got the composition. That's probably a rule of thirds right there, the flag on a rule of thirds. Trump in the middle, while the rest of the Secret Service is counting the other lower thirds of the image here. But what do you think, guys? Could you pull this image off? I think most talented photojournalists, photographers who've been doing it probably over 10 years could probably get this shot off, as long as they had the confidence within that situation to get it off. Because most people didn't quite know exactly what kind of shooting incident. Some people thought it was fireworks. Some people probably thought it was Secret Service shooting at somebody else, but nobody had said anything yet. And I was listening to news reporters talk about, we didn't really know kind of what it was until we heard multiple shots, because it was 8 shots that was taken. But after the first shot, some people heard it, some people didn't. After the second couple of shots, then now you know it's something really bad. You see what I'm saying? Based on how the audience reacted, because Trump got hit before people were able to actually understand what was going on at a mass scale. And then with people scrambling and running everywhere, as a photographer, there's not much you can do to get away so much as, hey, I need to keep taking. So most people would think, yeah, keep shooting, but also get in safety, but also keep shooting, and that kind of thing. You think about it, especially when you see other photographers doing it. You think about it, especially if you brought a camera that's not a cell phone. And last thing, cell phones can't do this. And I hope this really, really brings back. Now, cell phones probably got cruddy zoom in optical video of it. Most people will probably think about optical video, or digital zoom video, and they're pinching and zooming with their cell phones, probably in the same situation. But no. I don't think the cell phones could have got close enough to get this image, and also somebody not be afraid. You see what I'm saying? Especially the closer you are to the president, the more people were afraid. And then on top of that, cell phones don't really do well with action. They probably could have got this shot off if they got as close as they were to the other guy. But think about it. People don't think about how the cell phone images are getting blurry, putting the cell phones in their pockets and stuff like that. They probably recorded video. Most people recorded video, and we got video of it. But getting the picture is a whole different ballpark. And most people with cell phones won't be able to get this off as good as he got this one off. Now, this one wasn't as easy. This one wasn't as hard as the other image he got with a bullet whizzing through the air. But hopefully this will bring a lot more respect back to the pro photographers and what they go through to get the images that they need. I'm Devin with Century FX Studios, guys. I know this was a little bit of a longer video. I'm going to have his specs, his approximated specs in the description below. Also his camera and the affiliate links in the description below. Please click those affiliate links. I do get a kickback. And stay tuned for the next video.